Welcome back. You are watching Global Eye. Our focus today on EU-India relations in the context of EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's visit to India with the biggest ever delegation of European commissioners, 22 of them to be specific. Our focus also was to discuss the biggest threats confronting Europe right now and how EU and India can collaborate on startups, research and innovation for the future as well. Joining us right now to speak about all of this is Ekaterina Zaharieva, who is the EU Commissioner for Startups, Research and Innovation. Let me begin by asking you about the kind of statements that we've been hearing from the United States. The US President going on to say that the EU was created to cheat the United States. J.D. Vance said at the Munich Security Conference that EU is actually retreating from its core values. In this context, do you feel that its time has come for the European Union to really rethink and review its long-term foreign policy?
I wouldn't say that it's time to review his long-term foreign policy, but it's time to rethink its economic security and autonomy, and which we do actually. Actually, it was before elections in the United States. First it was COVID, somehow wake up us, I mean, not only in Europe, but I think all over the world, that it's not okay to rely only on one supplier, no matter which is the supplier, which is the country. So in that we should rethink our economic autonomy and then the brutal war in Ukraine, when Russia and Putin attacked a neighboring country just because they want to be a part of NATO or joining European Union. So somehow the citizens of that country don't have the right to decide by themselves which unions to join. And then Europe was a bit dependent, a lot dependent, I would say, on Russian natural resources like gas, oil, etc. So we start to be very much focused on diversing and also to strengthen our R&I, European, very strong actually research capacity and innovation capacity. So focusing on critical materials, focusing on advanced materials, focusing on also on AI, on quantum, on semiconductors, on biotech, life sciences, etc.
The US is threatening reciprocal tariffs on everyone. They've also said that Europe has been unfair to them. How do you see these reciprocal tariffs coming in, and what will be your message to the US?
I already said this is not win-win. This will be lose-lose situation for us, but for them as well. So as our Commissioner Šefčovič said, we are ready to negotiate, we are ready to look at the tariffs and to negotiate, but this will be, even in short, not only in long run, maybe it will be some short win, but it will be in long, even medium term, a lose-lose situation. So, and I think this will be, I hope they will rethink this position, but we'll see.
Okay, let me ask you about the importance of European Union's visit to India. Now, this is the largest ever delegation that has come. The timing is very significant as well. Let me ask you about closer collaboration on startups. Yesterday, you had the good opportunity to meet startups in India. Give us a sense of the kind of collaboration on startups that you are planning, envisaging for India and EU.
It is a really, I think, a very important visit. As you said, it's a historical one. It's for the first time the whole college, almost the whole college is here. Only the colleagues who have some councils and other duties are not here. We have, before the college to government meeting, we have the second Trade and Technology Council meeting in the morning. And my working group, it's Clean and Tech. So we are working on three main challenges, I would say, for India, for European Union, but also big opportunities as well. The first is a plastic litter, which is India, I think, generates 10 billion tons. We in Europe 16. and recycling and improving the management of this plastic litter will be beneficiary for both sides. So we are focusing on research and innovation, working together, and committed with 20 million euro calls for European researchers and Indian researchers to work together to find solutions. The second is also challenging, but also big opportunity for the business. It's electric batteries recycling. The expectation is that until 2030 there will be 200 million batteries to be recycled. Third is also a big opportunity for India, but also for Europe. The fact that we have committed Europe to reach a neutrality in 2050, India in 2070. It's we call this project from waste to clean hydrogen. India has a big potential on that.
Ma'am, I'd also like to ask you about the barriers that you mentioned. What are some of the barriers that European companies are facing in India right now, which you hope that the Indian government will work on addressing?
They see the political stability is very good. So I'll start with the positive things. Political stability in the country is something that is positive. Also the big market, of course, is a very big market. The skilled people, very big advantage of India. This is the analysis that the private sector share with us. And then they mentioned some, I would say, barriers. It's legislation, some a bit difficult procedures that they said that when they go to the market. You have this some certification process which is long to be able to sell their products in the market. It's a bit long and complicated for them. But that's why we work in this Trade and Technology Council, actually, in recognition of certification, joint certification, which will improve both, actually, ways. Indian companies and European companies like us a lot. For example, in my working group, we work on joint standards for battery charging of electric vehicles, which will open possibility for Indian producer for the European market if we have standardization on that, and the same for European producers who want to sell on the European market. But in general, they said it's a country which we want to invest further. And they are waiting for and very hopeful that we will manage to complete negotiations for the free trade agreement that we negotiated since 22. Actually, since many years, but the negotiations were started in 2022. So our president and Indian Prime Minister. They somehow give task the commissioners who are leading the negotiations, and the Indian Minister and European Commissioner, which is Maroš Šefčovič, to complete negotiations until the end of this year. It will be the biggest, if it's happened, and I'm very hopeful that it will happen, it will be the biggest trade agreement in the world.
All right. Ekaterina Zaharieva, thank you so much for joining us here on Global Eye. With that, we come to the end of this special broadcast on EU-India ties. The big takeaway is both countries will now be accelerating the progress on the free trade agreement with the hope to conclude this trade deal by the end of 2025. That's all we have time for. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.